Hello, I'm Renee Varnadore, and this is Soul Portal Journeys. And today I'm going to be talking about the full moon in Gemini, which is exact on December 15th. I'm filming this the day before on December 14th. And so it just kind of gives you a chance of really working for 3 days with this full moon energy, this illuminating energy. So you can listen to it today. The moon is in Gemini right now. It's just not at the exact degree where it's going to be opposite the sun, which is what creates the amazing full moons that we love so much to take pictures of. So, and also if you're going, oh, I missed it, it's already the 16th, you're still in the full moon energy. Even though Gemini may have already moved to another sign, there's just this sense of that energy of the full moon lasting for 3 days. And so I'm going to be talking about some of the things that are in the sky right now, some of the things that are giving us, helping us in our own lives, because there's a spiritual law that says what is above, as above, so below. And so, what is the below? Well, the below is stuff that happens on earth, but it's also things that are happening within our own hearts. Because when our hearts are clear and we can see within our own heart, then we are able to manifest things in the world that are not just selfish, egoic, crazy things that we do, and then we have to pay consequences for it later as we learn through karma. But rather, when we clear out our heart and really look within our own being and really understand who we are, like remembering why we came to Earth. We are beings that have had many, many experiences in many places in this galaxy, Milky Way, and other galaxies, probably. Could be, never know. So tune into that and see if that feels right for you. May not. That's fine. I don't have to convince you that my life is real, but because it resonates and is real for me. So what I do is I go within on the new moon and I say, what's being conceived within me now? And I see it and I say, okay, but what can I bring to my daily life to really anchor in the light that I feel during the new moons? And then what happens 2 weeks later is that all the things that we saw in potentiality in the new moon have been illuminated, and we can make a decision. Okay, I see it. Was this what I wanted to create? No. Okay, never mind. Let me go back and do it again. I've done that several times in my life. Maybe you have to. But that's how we learn, when we're learning through our karma and our mistakes and all the things. And that's just the setup. So we get to forgive ourselves for all of it. But once we wake up, okay, and once we're like, yeah, I'm responsible for my own life, I'm responsible for my decisions, my creations, which insights I take and which I don't, which blooms I encourage and water, and which little seeds I just say, not doing it. We get to make those kinds of choices because there's so much coming in for us. And we just get to decide, oh, this feels good. This feels joyful. This feels peaceful. This feels like something I think other people I know might need too. So that's what I try to do on the full moons when everything's illuminated. I think there's a movie called that. I don't think I never did see it though. But our lives every month have a full moon where everything is illuminated. And we can decide to make choices and release what we don't want and step into the light of what we do want, what we want to create. Because now we're learning from our creations and what we're manifesting. Now that we're conscious, that we're creating all of it, we get to create consciously, co-creating with other people, also creating consciously to make a world that works for all of us. Yeah, not that world that was lack and limitation and I gotta get mine bigger, better, faster, all that nonsense. We're just like work up out of it and are like, okay, what from my soul, what soulfully, what me as all that I am, what am I trying to create here on this planet at this intense time of transition? So I'm going to share the full moon presentation that I created for you. You guys know I just love doing this. This is just, you know, one of the things I love to create. What am I creating? This is what I'm creating. What are you creating? That's the question. So beautiful golden full moon on the water. I get to see full moons on the water. I wake up at 3 in the morning, but I'm too lazy to get my camera. I'm going back to bed. So I didn't get a full moon yet this month, but I've got tomorrow and the next day. So let's see if I get one. So here is the chart. You can see that we still have a very faint triangle. We have a faint triangle in water, but we've got some other interesting aspects in this chart. We've got the sun right here with this glyph in Sagittarius. That's the glyph for Sagittarius. And it's, of course, opposite the moon because it's a full moon in, guess what, Gemini. That's the glyph for Gemini. You can see the Gemini glyphs here in the outer wheel, and you can see the glyphs for the planets and the points. And these little ones right here are the stars. I love looking at the stars because it's just another layer of information. You're getting cosmic points. You're getting there's even a nebula in this one, so it's pretty exciting. So I like looking at that. But the first thing to look at is this right here. This is the sun and the moon. They always have a red line between them. That is what their aspect is. That's what they're doing. So what's happening is that they're in opposition. Don't get scared by the word opposition, by the way. It just means that really, we're seeing the both and. We have the potential to see not in duality, not like, okay, this is daylight and I'm going to do this, I'm going to shine my light, and this one is nighttime and scary and spooky, and I'm hiding all the dark stuff from myself because I want to know about it. So there's like intuitive moon, lunar, nighttime type of information that we receive on this planet and decide how to work with it. And then there's also daylight, what everybody else is running around doing in 3D, and we can decide what we want to do or what we don't want to do. But how do we find the balance between these two? Well, every month, we're gonna see a slide coming up here that's gonna help us with this opposition and help us understand specifically because there's 6 different oppositions, actually 12, but 6, and then you see them from different points of view. So that'll be interesting. But there, I want to point out a couple of other things. This is a galactic point called the supergalactic center, and the south node is right on it. It's been conjunct for the last couple of months, but that right now, 2 degrees and 2 degrees. Woo! Okay, and then the nodes, they travel this direction. Everybody else travels this direction. Okay, but the nodes, woo, man, they're getting ready to move into Pisces Virgo, and I'm really excited about that because I'm going to be doing a whole presentation on that, which I'm going to tell you about in the end of the video. But this one is powerful. This is a powerful time to release something that's been really hard to release that you haven't been able to let go of, because the supergalactic center is this huge gravitational pull of multiple galaxies. So whatever things, parts of you, and you think you're in separation, you think there's this part and that part in my inner child, in my whatever, in my this, when my dad, in my all these parts of me, right? And all these conversations and my, the critical parent in my head, all of it, all of it. How do you pull into the wholeness of it? So this south node, which helps us release stuff, release a sense of separation, and step into a sense of wholeness of all the things we are, taking responsibility for every single thing. Oh my gosh. Sounds scary, but when you friggin' do it, oh my God, the freedom is amazing. I used to be scared. I don't know what I was scared of for decades. Okay. It's whatever. It takes what it takes. Everybody has their own timing too. So that's interesting. We also have, what else did I want to talk about? We have Mercury is in the same sign as the sun is right now, but it's not quite conjunct this. But look at this one. Jupiter is conjunct this moon, this full moon. So Jupiter is the planet of expansion. So this one might feel more expansive than some other ones. And there's so Gemini, what is the sign of Gemini? The Gemini is the one that's all about knowledge and knowing things. And then once you know a lot of things and you've got, okay, I'm going to examine myself and I'm going to look at all these parts of myself and all these parts from my childhood and all these voices in my head and where they came from and how to get rid of them. And then when you finally see them all, because it's a process, you get to see them all, then you go into, you see that you go into your heart where you are working with your wisdom. And it's your wisdom that understands the wholeness of your life in all of its parts. So in Gemini, we're seeing all the parts, but in Sagittarius, we're stepping into our wisdom. We're stepping into our wholeness that knows all these parts. Okay, so that's one of the things that's happening. We know that Pluto we know Pluto has just moved into Aquarius. There's 3 stars we're going to talk about there. We've got Venus just passed by Pluto, and that was interesting. Venus a couple days ago was just opposite Mars, and you might have felt this sense of the feminine aspects of you versus the masculine aspects of you, the yin and yang aspects. We're not talking about genders here, we're talking about energies. And the Mars energy and the Venus energy are just feel like opposites. And so every time they come together in an opposition, that's our chance to be able to say, oh, okay, this is what's coming up for me and flowing and that I want to create. And then this is with the Mars energy, this is how I'm going to take action on that. This is how I'm going to structure it, hold it, and take action on what is coming up for me with the yin energy. So when you learn how to work with your yin, a lot of people suppressed their feminine energy because it was frowned upon decades ago when people would talk about it. It just scared everybody. And now people are just more used to hearing people speak from deep places. People speak from their channeling. People speak from their deep intuitive wells. And it's not as scary for people to hear now. So any past trauma you had about not being heard when you are in your truest expression, that can all get healed now just by talking a lot, on the internet. That's what I did. Okay, it's one of the easier ways to do it. Some people write whole books and publish them. That's harder, in my opinion. Okay, so we've got Saturn is behind Neptune. Neptune finally started going direct. Saturn started going direct. So they're going to be moving next year into Aries, and there's a whole bunch of stuff we're going to talk about when that happens, because that's really, really powerful. Saturn is structure, and I've just loved having Saturn in Pisces because I have this Pisces moon right here on the same degree as this star Shiat we're going to talk about. And boy, was I up in the clouds and spaced out and ungrounded the majority of my life. And when Saturn came into Pisces, everything just got more structured. And the way that I could you identify different strains of intuition and be able to pull it together is was been just amazing. I've just been loving this whole time of being able to see where my illusions were about the choices that I've been making about my spiritual life and my service, and seeing my illusions and my delusions about that, and being able to step into a new way of moving forward in a new sense of what I'm going to be doing in my life. So, my husband and I are decided after that realization with when Neptune was in retrograde, we decided to move to Mexico City. We've been straddling the border with the US and Mexico for a very long time, living in Baja California, and we're going to go straight into where the Aztecs built their city before the conquistadors came. So very powerful when two cultures are still, you can still see the mixture of cultures, both indigenous and colonial. It's amazing, amazing to live in that section of Mexico. So that's going to be exciting. Lots of pyramids to go under. So, but I digress. When we're talking about this particular new moon, we've got this north node is at 2 degrees Aries. It's going to, on January 11th, it's going to be moving into Pisces. So that'll be really exciting. We've got this beautiful information here. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to talk to you about this. You can read this, answer questions, stop the thing, read this, whatever you want to do. But we're going to go on and talk about this line and what it means, this red line between the sun and the moon. So this is the axis. Okay, so we've got Gemini right here. Now I overlaid the zodiac over a um a graphic from Barbara Hanklow's book, where she talks about the Wheel of 12. She's not really talking about astrology here, but when I read what she's got, it really resonates for me and gives me clarity on some of the aspects that are in the zodiac. So there's Gemini, and there's an ability in Gemini for us to integrate in 3D by collecting all information. Now, there's a lot of misinformation out there, so you have to know, you have to have a way of knowing, okay, well, these people are just pontificating, these people are fear-mongering, these people are spreading propaganda, what's going on, what's the truth here? And so we're integrating all this information we're pulling in from 3D, and we're verifying sources as valid sources, and we're just collecting information, and we're collecting knowledge. So that's Gemini's job. Gemini loves looking at different perspectives. Gemini loves saying, that's your perspective, and it's interesting. I'm going to think about it. I'm also going to think about this opposite perspective and this one over here, and how I might be able to combine all this. So that's kind of integrating ideas in 3D. Now, up here is the Sagittarius, integrating with spirit. So I talked at the beginning of the video about there's a spiritual law called as above, so below. And so we also, within our own being, we have what a lot of people call our higher self, or our soulful self, or that part of us that knows it lives in more than one dimension. And we open into being able to integrate our spirit with our humanness. Now, we can't, I tried when I was a child to live up here all the time, and it's really difficult to do that and to get anything done and to manifest and create, which is like our job right now. So being able to come in and integrate with spirit and integrate in 3D at the same time. So you take your 3D integrations and your spirit integrations, your human self, your higher self, your soulful self, boom, together, finding a way to create with this one in charge, okay, and bringing it in. So the spirit is in charge, my soulful self, the instructions I receive that are within my own heart, and then taking a baby step to integrate it into 3D to create and manifest something that's going to help other people here during this huge transition that is freaking some people out. But it's gonna be okay. There's always a create, sustain, destroy cycle, and if you get too upset about the destroy part, if you feel like we're in the destruction part and it's just like getting to you, like there's a couple times that happened to me, and then I had to remember, you know what? I can focus on crying over all of this and work through all some grief, which I do. I spent about an hour working through some grief. And then um what you want I want to focus on though is the next part of the cycle, the creation. So what am I creating? That's a question I ask at every single new moon ceremony we do. What is being created within me now is our new moon question. Our full moon question is what is being illuminated. So let's look at this. This is what's been going on. This is what I just said. Knowledge versus wisdom, integrating 3D, integrating with spirit, the both and of duality to resolve polarities. Okay, so this is a duality. Oh, I'm just focused on 3D. Oh, I'm just focused on, what's going on in my imagination up here that I can't even tell anybody about because it's just, I don't even understand it, right? So it's integrating with this, understanding this to a point where you can bring it. So this is a duality. This is a duality. I was stuck in this duality for a while, and then I was stuck in this duality for a while. And being able to open to both and have a both end experience that pulls me out of duality, and I am able to resolve the polarity. The more each one of us resolves polarity within our own life, the more the polarized society that we're seeing is going to resolve. I mean, right now we're in so much fear mongering that we've got political division, and within the country of the United States, is even if you're not from the United States or live there anymore, you know that there's polarization in the politics. And when we personally, within our own personal lives, resolve polarity, then eventually there will be a resolution of the duality that we see, and we're calling each other evil and calling each other all kinds of other crazy things. And we resolve we resolve that polarity. And that's one thing that we need to do in order to really open into what is available to us in more multiple dimensions. And more information can come through more quickly and easily when we resolve these polarities also. So this is exciting to be in a Gemini Sagittarius axis. Here are some of the stars, and this is exciting. We've got the star Rasselhog in this constellation, but this is what's more interesting to me, because the moon has a lot going on, because these stars right here are really close to each other. And then Jupiter has been on Rigel back and forth, because Jupiter was in retrograde for a while, and now he's back. So he's back on Rigel now. But the moon is conjunct this star in Orion called Mesa, and two of the Orion belt stars, Alnilam and Mintaka, and the Orion Nebula. And I have a whole picture I'm going to show you of that. And we talked about the South Node. We've got Pluto going through Aldebaran, Aldebaran, and Altar. Two of those are listed here. In this program generated it. This is from a galactic astrology program that generated this one. So that's exciting because I'm a galactic astrologer certified practitioner. Actually, it's called quantum soul guidance practitioner. I get a lot of certifications. Um, and then we've got responsible Saturn over here with a Chirna, which is this amazing constellation that's just like a flowing river. This one really helped me understand the yin energy and the flow of energy. It really taught me, just observing it and thinking about it and receiving information from it, taught me what yin energy was. So and Saturn is very, and structure is like the riverbanks for this river, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Saturn was in retrograde for a while, and then he came back, and he's closer onto Arcturus now. So I like that. It feels good. And then Neptune is not on Chiat right now, but it's been on Chiat. It kind of, when it was in retrograde, went too far out into 27 degrees, but it's going to be going back. And Chiat's at 29 degrees. So it's if you have a feel for the star, you can still feel it, but it's going back towards Shiat again. And when that happens, it'll be easier to have Shiat help you open your crown chakra, which is something we do in the ceremony so that we can bring in all this light. And this light is just packed full of information from all of these beings within these stars are sending us this information through light. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Um, okay, so yeah, we talked a little bit about illusion. And then Uranus is the higher mind, and Uranus had been on Algor and went into retrograde, and it's not on Algor right now, but it's going to go back to 26 degrees of Taurus and be back on this star. And so we might feel this again. During the US elections, Algar and Uranus was right on Algar, and it was really powerful. We've got Chiron has this star Tau Ceti, and Tau Ceti has a whole history, but what I didn't realize until today was that Tau Ceti is in the stomach of the sea monster Cetus, which is there's a whole constellation with Cetus in it, and it's a sea monster that grabbed and chained Andromeda, and I'm I'm going to be talking more about that whole myth with the chained woman and with Andromeda. Um, at the end of this video. So that'll be really exciting. So all of this help we're getting is amazing. Now here's a picture of Orion. We have the belt star Mantica, and we have this middle belt star Anthelum. Okay, we didn't get this one. Well, we got these two. And here's Mesa right here. So we've had this was the line that the moon is on right now. Okay. So it hit three of these Orion stars, and Jupiter is over here hitting Rigel. But right under this star, the middle star, right about here, is this. This is the Orion Nebula. Oh my gosh. There is so much information here. This is like the stars are being born here. This is like this supernova it came into it, like it's part of the destroy cycle, and we can see this incredible patterns of dust and light in different heats and frequencies, and all of it you can see here, and it's giving us all kinds of information. Whether you're a scientist or more of a poet, you can kind of see patterns, and you can see interactions, and you can see movement, and you can get information just from looking at nebulas. And there are stars being born within the light coming in with the dust. So the dust and the light together and the heat helping to create these stars. And it's kind of like, I was talking about, as above, so below, the way we create within our own lives. We open, sometimes we used to have to open through trauma. Now we're just going to be able to manifest, right? And create. But he had this rubbing and this heat and this, what am I going to do? And our heart opens, and what we see, we go, I don't see anything there. It's all dark. It's dusty, just like it's dusty in the middle of a nebula. And then you start to see some light, and you start to get, little by little, putting together pieces of light and getting an idea of, oh, what's unfolding in my heart? Oh, I'm starting to see it. Oh, I'm starting to see it in my life too. And you go, as you move more and more, you start to understand, oh, the dust is necessary. Oh, when I look in my heart, the dust is necessary, the light is necessary, the heat is necessary. It's all part of opening. And when I accept that, I can move out of needing to open my heart through trauma and suffering and all the other pain, right? And be able to open my heart because I want to manifest something. I want to create something that's going to be good for all of us. And so that's the invitation now, is to open in that way. We don't need the suffering pain part way of opening anymore. We don't need karma to learn anymore. We're looking at learning because we just want to create a new reality with our buddies that can also co-create, that have also resolved the tensions in their own birth chart. It's amazing. It takes a lot, but everybody has their own journey, and it's all in the birth chart. And the birth chart just tells us, boom, this is how we do it. This is what we need to resolve here. This has been our karma. This has been our path. Let's get all this resolved so we can move on to the really fun part, which is co-creating this possibility from what we can create. A new kind of consciousness on the earth. Look around, I think we need it. So here's Sabian symbols, children skating on ice. Why am I showing you this? Because the moon is at 23 degrees Gemini, which means that we're looking at what is at 24 degrees Gemini. So a refusal to be defeated. To rage against the dying of the light is to resist the power of death. Recreation is a tool for self-vitalization. Oh my gosh, that's a mouthful. Wow, contemplate that one. Okay, so we're developing maturity. Okay, we're saying, okay, yeah, there's some old structures being destroyed right now in the world, on the political scene, but being able to look beyond that, being able to see, oh, wait a minute, I just blew up my life, but I didn't really. I just, because I know where I'm going. So there's like this sense of you know, releasing the old that served you so well and stepping into the new. Okay, so that's all fascinating. So my life in Baja is dying right now because we're clearing out all the stuff, and so we're getting ready to sell the house, but we know where we're going. It was a choice. It wasn't like the ocean came and took away my house. So it feels different when you're the one just saying, okay, this is the choice I'm making. So here we go. This is where the sun is, Sagittarius 23. And so we're at peace and happiness. The formula for life though complex, is reliable. When we get it right, we experience a serene easiness of being, finding inner peace and radiating beauty. This is our reward when we integrate all of the parts of ourselves and all of the ways we can be conscious and see and look and know and love through this life while we're in 3D. Oh my gosh, it can be amazing. And the birds are singing. So that's kind of things that are going on. This is being illuminated in this full moon. Okay. This is what comes after realizing, oh, I'm responsible for my own choices. Other people are going to do what they're going to do, but this is what I'm going to do. So what was I talking about that I'm going to be talking about the nodes of the moon? Yeah, I am. This is I've been working with these amazing, amazing colleagues, so brilliant, so visionary. We've all been taking this class. I thought, I tell everybody I'm a galactic astrologer and I was taking a galactic astrology class and I was focused on the astrology of the whole thing. But oh my gosh, really, it's what I actually am and what we actually are quantum soul guidance certified practitioners. And we're having a summit. And when you really understand how the galaxies and the stars and the constellations and the nebula work in our lives, oh my gosh, then all of a sudden we can see more clearly where our soul has been and what we've been through. And so we really are quantum soul guidance. So because we see this larger perspective and we understand the systems of this larger galactic um, galactic way things happen, and we can see the map in birth charts of all our clients. So these are amazing, amazing people. We all have a different focus. We've all had different lives and different experiences, but we all have decided we want this perspective that galactic astrology gives us. And our mentor teacher it just came through for her, this whole system. And we're just so grateful for her. This is Julia Balaz, our mentor teacher. She's amazing. And we're all her kids, right? No, we're not her kids. We're her students. And so the one I get to do an hour presentation with these people. I'm just so blessed. And mine is happening on January 15th, 2025 at 11:30 Pacific Standard Time. And the title of the talk is The Alpha and the Omega, the nodes of the moon meet the star Shiat at the last degree of the zodiac. So what the Alpha Omega, the beginning and the end, what we find out is that the end is in the beginning and the beginning is in the end. And when we understand, oh, this is being destroyed, we're in the destroy cycle politically because the US is having its Pluto return, right? But there's a creative part of it, and my personal life is heading towards the creation of of a completely new spiritual service in a different location than the one that I've been in. So this is like this huge, huge shift for me, huge shift in the United States, huge shift all over the planet as we're going through all of these transitions, as there's aspects that are in the destroy cycle, and then but we focus on those aspects that are in the creation cycle, because creating and manifesting, um we have to decide, is that where we are we in the creative manifesting part, or are we still crying and over the destruction, and and working through some leftover grief and that kind of thing, about this. So I'm not saying don't feel grief over this, just or over what you're leaving behind, or what is being left behind, whether you like it or not. There is a sense then of, okay, this is a way of learning, it is a way of opening your heart. Which way do you want to do? Which way? Your choice. Some people are going to, it's easier and clearer to see karmically, and they're going to want to stay in the suffering and the karma. That's their choice. you know I've made mine, you get to make yours. But this is going to be fascinating to talk about the beginning and the end and the nodes of the moon, because what happens, because the nodes are moving backwards, they're moving backwards from the very beginning of the zodiac at 0 degrees Aries to the end of the zodiac, which is 29 degrees Pisces, which is where the star Shiat is on the last degree of the zodiac. So we're going to be traveling, the nodes are traveling from and the nodes are like, okay, what are you doing here? Hey, you remember why you came to Earth? Hey, hello, you remember me? This is what you wanted to do when you got here. And so the nodes of the moon are in the going from the beginning to the end. So you can, it's like being able to see moments of beginning and end in the same, like boom, boom, connected. You're able to then be in that moment of, okay, this is the beginning. Okay, this is the end. And you should be able to see like a figure eight or an infinity symbol, the middle point between those two. There's so much information when the end is in the beginning and the beginning is in the end. So there's going to be so much information as the nodes move opposite to where all the planets are going. They're all, for them, it's all the last degree is Pisces and the first degree is Aries. That's where Saturn and Neptune are going to meet in 2026 on 0 degrees Aries conjunction. Boom. Beginning point of the zodiac. Lots of changes between now and then. Are you ready? Let's go. Let's go. Are you getting ready? How do you get ready? You make sure that you've cleared out what's going on inside your heart. You make sure that you can see within your own heart what your next step is, what your choices are. So if any of this interests you, I hope to see you at this summit. This is going to be amazing. There's going to be something in the show notes. I'm going to be open up to that. This link for this to register for this summit is going to be right there. If you I sold out all of my year ahead astrology readings, and if that makes you cry, you can email me and say, Renee, please. And I'll see what I can do at the end of the last couple of days of December, the first couple of days of January, see if I can get you in. It depends. If I get my presentation done, I'll have time to add some more spots for astrology readings so that you can really look at your chart and we can really see, what you've been resolving and what you've been working on in your life. So if that's something that interests you, email me. If this is I hope you all want to come to this, see me. But some of these are also going to be amazing. You should come to as many of them as you can. The replays are only going to be up for a couple of days. So anyway, I am so excited to share this with you guys and enjoy this beautiful illumination. Journal, meditate, do all the things. And remember, your meditation question is, what is being illuminated within me now? So, love and blessings. Give me a comment below, subscribe to this channel, put a like on it. All those things help me. So,